There you go, troops. Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford. Well, the football is back, just about back, and Monday we play Hibs, guys. It's JP and Sam on me this episode. I think we can all start with saying that my dinner was excellent. Sam, how was yours?
I think mine's just stupendous, mate.
Thursday night cooking session, fucking love it. As I say, football's back to the main stuff. As I say, JP, as we've heard the news, obviously the football's back by fans are in. I know there's certain restrictions about the booster and lateral flows that are making it a bit more difficult, but again, we're just happy that we can actually go and watch Celtic again.
Yeah, mate. First of all, good evening, lads. How are we? I'm glad that you still have done your can't cook, won't cook episode, and this is it undone with, and we're ready to kick on with this. Yeah, great. It's great news, obviously, hearing that she's lifted the ban for us, and we are now looking forward to getting back into a full Celtic part on Monday night. Massive game again. Very tough opposition to start us off with. I'm pretty sure they'll be looking to impress their new manager. I think, is it only one game or two games tops? I think Sean's took charge of so far. So yeah, they'll be wanting to kick on as well and start to hopefully climb the table. So it'll be one that we need to burn our toes, I think, and we'll need to more or less hit the ground running, as I say. Be ideal as well. We've got this rule now that there's going to be 5 substitutes. So I'd imagine Ange will be looking forward to being able to helps to rotate some of the squad. Maybe guys, if they're feeling it after so long in the game, not played for a wee while. So I'd imagine some of them might be quite leggy as the game goes on. But you're expecting a fast-paced game overall. Two teams, I'd imagine Sean Maloney's teams are going to want to play attacking football. We certainly do. So it's a great occasion, and it's going to be great to see us back into paradise, as we call it now.
Yeah, mate, I think that's a big thing. Obviously, the fans are back, and I think no matter what the game is, we'd be starting back. So I think, Sam, it's just good we can all get back. I know some people may be able to go because of either vaccinations or lateral flows and stuff, but I think it's just good that the majority of fans will be able to get back into paradise.
Exactly, as both of you say, it's because for some people it's the thing they look forward to during the week. So obviously when that was took away or when it was limited or whatever, obviously I'm not saying they've been depressed of it, but it takes away a part of their everyday week. Like for example, if we're playing on Saturday, you work all the way through the week and then you get to that Saturday and that's your release to go and just show your emotion, sing, show your anger if need be or whatever. So I'm extremely happy that obviously we're getting back in and can't wait to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Lads, at the fans are back in. It's only going to benefit Celtic because, as we've said, JP, before we come on, for the training videos, we've got most of the players all back. Big Julian's back. We even start with him. I know there was a bounce game the other day and he played in it and supposedly get some minutes in his legs. So whether or not he play on Monday, I doubt it. But I think maybe the ideal game for him would be Alloa. But again, do you play him on the Astro right away if you get back from an injury? It's one of the ones. But I think Julian back, it's just good to have him back because, let's be fair, defensive options were no blessed sometimes, especially with injuries we've had. So I think him coming back in training, I know there was rumours about him, he was back, JP, but I think seeing him training now, it's kind of getting the juices flowing now that we're getting players back and Ange can actually pick the team that he actually wants to pick.
Aye, definitely, mate. I said it previously, a couple of pods ago now. The big man is massive for us. I think he's a massive game player for us. I think he turns up when we need him to turn up. I think he's very dependable. I think he's a leader. Wasn't long ago, there was a lot of Celtic fans, they were questioning if McGregor was going to be able to do it, become the captain and stuff. They were actually thinking Julian was the prime candidate to take up that role. As I said, he's a big voice. Been to plenty of games. I've watched him. He's very vocal on the pitch. And he's a massive threat, Ryan, at set pieces. I think he's scored over double figures in a season at the time he's been with us. He scored a lot of vital goals as well. Scored the one in the cup final, but we didn't play very well that day. But he popped up when it was needed. Come off the man, come off the hour, as they say. Scored a great goal against Lazio at Celtic Park. It got us a 2-1 victory that night. Again, that was massive. So he's done some things that have set tones in games that, that's kind of turned Celtic's fortunes, in my opinion anyway. So, yeah, it's massive, and it's even better now that you hear the rumours that he's back, and, he's coming back and he's doing this and he's doing that. And it seemed like a while that Ange was, he was coming away with that. Ange was saying, yeah, he's back, he's doing his, he's rehabbing, he's doing this. But to actually see him in a training video now, and to see him pressing, it's like repressing exercises, and, he looks sharp, he looks in good condition. So, yeah, it's a massive positive for us, Ryan. And I would imagine it must feel for Ange like a brand new £7 million signing.
I think I would go with that, mate, when it comes to a new signing, because Ange has played with him. He's not had them available, so it is really a new signing for him. And really for us, because he's not really played in a year, so roughly even about that, give or take. So it is a new signing for the squad, and obviously, whether or not he plays right away, I doubt it, but I think he might play, maybe say you're 3-0 for nothing, Hibs against Hibs, he might play 10 minutes just to give him, I don't know how you be getting back in to obviously play again, but I think Sam he'll get him in somehow if it is 10 minutes here and there, or when the game is maybe finished, or if he is, he might throw him in. You never know if he's pressed that much, we don't know, but I doubt that. I think he'll be in and out, and then he might play I don't want to say a lesser game, but maybe against a team like your St Mirren's or your Livingston at home, just to kind of ease him back in again. I know every game's important, but he'll need to play somehow, because he will need to get games, because it's all right having him fit, Sam, but if he's not going to get a game, he's just going to be sitting there getting leggy and no actually playing football. So I think Ange will need to, I don't know if he'll need to fit his system. Is he going to play 3 at the back with Julian, Starfelt and Vickers, and move Juranovic and Ralston forward and cut back a midfielder? I don't know how he's going to work it, but it's a good option to have, and it's a good headache, I think, Sam, for Ange to have, because the headaches we've been having is who we're going to play, who's available. But now we've got, right, who we're going to pick today, because we've got 4 or 5 decent centre-backs to pick for.
I was just going to say it, as you just said, it's normally it's like, oh crap, like we've not got enough cover, or we've not got people to play, but then it's frightening to think we've got the likes of Starfelt, Vickers, Julian, and even Welsh, they're 4 straight off the bat. So, as you said, it gives Ange a good headache, because again, it gives them options, whereas before us, we all 3 he's not been able to maybe chop and change, or if something's not gone right, and then switch out, etc., etc. So, it's, and as JP said, it's like you'll have it's as if you'll have a new £7 million signing. So everyone's on the up in that department anyway. So it's just for once, it's nice to have depth to some extent in a position where, again, obviously we've been lacking.
Aye, mate, I agree with you when it comes to the depth, and not just the depth, it's the quality of depth we've got now. Starfelt's done, I know people will give Starfelt a bit of jip, but he's been reasonably okay. He's not been an absolute bomb scare, and he's not been absolutely perfect. He's been all right. He's starting to get better. I think every centre-back's going to have the odd bad game, especially maybe at Celtic's level. At Liverpool, and you can very rarely when they play bad, so you can give or take it with Starfelt, because Ange obviously trusts him, so I think that's the main thing. Obviously, JP, as we mentioned before we come on, if you Jota back fit with his headband, kind of way to get him unleashed with his headband, his glorious hair. I thought Tom Rogic had brilliant hair, mate, but I think Jota is going to beat him to that, because it looks horrendously amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, gorgeous Jota, mate. Love it.
What a barn, that.
Better my barn is nearly away. And obviously, Jackie Marcus as well. I respect Frank McAvenny a lot for what he's done in the game, and I still believe he's very good at what he does on open goal and punditry. But I don't know where he's pulling for that Jackie Marcus is going to get sold or get on loan, because it's just not going to happen. Celtic can't let a striker for his quality, for what we've seen for last season and what we know he can maybe do, go, because you've only got a Yeti to come in with Maeda and Kyogo. It's just, I don't know how that's come out. Again, it's come out of the blue, but for me, Jackie Marcus is, for me, I think he'll do well for us, given obviously the game time, because I don't know how Andrew's going to do his system. Is he going to stick with the one up front? Because if you sign Maeda as well, you've got 3 strikers that can come in and play. So is he going to play 2 up front? Is he going to play Jota behind the hole? Is he going to play wingers? We all know Kyogo can't play it wide. Well, he can play it wide, but he's a detriment to the team if he's not playing up front, because he's an out-and-out striker. You can see that. So is he going to play Maeda just to go and do what he wants? But it's options again, isn't it? You've got, who do you play up front? Is it the 2? Is it the 1? Do you play even Kyogo, Jackie Marcus and mate? Do you play 3 up front? How do you... He's got all these options, but on Jackie Marcus, for just with what I've seen from him, I know people are going to say it's only YouTube, but these days you can only really either get Y-Scout or YouTube. You can't really go to Holland and scout every day to see people. So he looks sharp. He looks like he's lost a bit of timber. You don't score the amount of goals as you did last year and be a poor player overnight. So, and suppose the rumours were he came injured. I don't know if that's true. It's just rumours I've seen he was no fit when he came. So, like we've said before we come on, it is a bit of a money pre-season for some of these guys to get back fit and chap on Angie's door.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I kind of feel sorry for the big man, because he's, for sections of your support, I think he's took a bit of a doing.
Because he won penalty.
Because of that penalty. And then I think it was a game or 2 after that, we went up to Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
And he came on and Forrest went on the goalie and tried to give him the ball and he put it out of the bar. And my point was, I just think he saw the rest of the guys that have come in beside him. So him and Jota kind of together. He saw how Jota's hit the ground running. He's thinking to himself, I need to kind of get there as well. So he's kind of trying too hard. Plus the fact he came late in the window as well. Now, I think we've heard Ange previously on record now saying that because he came late in the window, we've reason to believe that his previous team weren't letting him train with him. So he never really had much of a pre-season at all. So people need to kind of realise that. Same with James McCarthy. They came a bit later in the window with very little pre-season. And you've got guys and women and stuff like that writing them off straight away just because of one game. Now what happens on Monday night if he goes out and scores a hat-trick? All of a sudden he becomes the best.
He's the best thing since sliced bread.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you know, you can't have it too. You can't have it every way. And the ones that, by the way, bet your boots, the ones that criticise him, to turn around and say, "Oh, well done, big man," as if nothing's happened before. And that's what, you know, people need to remember what to say, and especially what people put out their social media and their various different platforms that are there. Like say Frank McAvenny, right? You don't know whether some of that's been misconstrued with Frank or. To
be fair, it wouldn't surprise me. But
maybe that's Frank's opinion. Maybe he just doesn't fancy the big lad, or maybe he's probably just compiled that with what he saw.
Mm-hmm.
And certain folk just make up their mind right away and say, "Nah, he's not a player. Nah, he's not a player. Nah, he's not a player." The thousands he's done it with Ralston. Now we're shouting about him getting in the Scotland team, and you know, so I think people need to take a wee sit back and step back and give the guy a chance to settle into the team.
I think now what you've said, I'm going to always, like any football fan, you're very quick to reserve judgment in players. I think now, because of what we've seen with Ralston and other players in the past, I think most people should take a wee back step out and give the guys a chance now. I think with Ralston's made us all eat our words, and fair fucks to the guy because he's been brilliant.
You've got to sit back because he's the pinnacle of what we're saying here. He's the main reason as to why everybody now should stop and think before they say anything. If that doesn't make you sit up and take notice, then I don't know what's going to, in my opinion.
Because you can't judge a guy for knowing. I think his first start, I think he scored, didn't he? St Johnstone. Was that his first start? Or his second start?
I think his first start, he scored at Tynecastle.
Who, Jackie Mack?
Oh, sorry, no, sorry. Sorry, I thought you were still talking about
that. He scored it, I think 1-2, wasn't it? Or 1-0. McGregor.
Aye, the game at Park.
Jamie passing.
Right, so he started and he scored. He's missed a penalty in the next game. But I thought when he came on against Ferencváros, he holded the ball well, he goes up the park. And I says that, I think when he first signed, I don't know what pod it was on, it was a while ago. He's a different option. He's somebody we've been crying out for, in my opinion, for a long. We've not had it really since Hesselink. A big lump up front. He hold the ball, keep the ball, and let us get up the park. And he done it against Ferencváros. I know it was only 20 minutes he came on for, but he'd done it to a T. He holded the ball up on the corner flag. He was getting up the park. He was wasting time. And I think he had the odd chance. But like you say, I personally, again, I can eat my words, but I think he's a very, very good option, because I'm not saying he's going to play every week. But I think for the money we pay for him and what he done last year, I still think it's good business either way, even if he doesn't, even if he fails, because you've kind of got value. If you paid £10 million from him, like maybe he should have been valued at, then I'd have been like, wait a minute here, £10 million, he's not kicked the ball yet. Like a Yeti, £5 million, no kick the ball. I can understand that, but it's only like £2 million or something, 2.5. So it is a lot of money to Celtic. I understand that, but for me, Sam, I do think Jackie Mack is a big option for us. And like you've got Kyogo, who's going to be a wee Trojan running about. I think Maeda's going to be the same. And he's a different option. So he could be, like we've said before, Livingston away, Jackie Mack up front, keep Beto on the bench. That could be, you've got options now to do that. If it's away in St Mirren, play your two speedy guys or whatever, you've got options now. And I think Sam, it's just to let Jackie Marcus go his game now. Let the guy do his game, and hopefully he stays healthy and he stays fit and prove to Ange that he deserves the game time. Because let's be fair, if he's not doing it in training, no matter what we think, he's not going to play. Because if he's not doing it in training, then there's not a chance of playing that 11.
No, definitely not. And like, obviously, as JP was saying, like, people are reserving judgment and saying he's washed up. Well, not washed up, but he's rubbish. He's this, he's that. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, the penalty at Livingston was atrocious. I was going after my head, but I wasn't going as far as obviously again to say it was done. We said before, he's hardly kicked the ball. He's hardly no pre-season, sorry. Anyway, and it's like you said as well, like with Alston, there's another player that made you eat your words. He could come on and do wonders for the next 3, 4 or whatever games. So. But I own like him as well. Like, he's that just option, as you say, that you just fire the ball up to. You bring Jota and Abada, whoever's playing in the wings, and obviously bring the midfielders further up, and it gives you a different dynamic as opposed to, I know they're two completely different players. Like Kyogo will just run his backside run like for 90 minutes. So I'm willing to give the guy a chance because he's not really showed that he's not able to play, and as you say. And the Dutch league, it's very hard to score the amount of goals they did, albeit for a really poor team. No disrespect, but I'm not willing to write the man off yet.
I am the same, mate. And obviously, JP, only guys who have been ripping things apart, Jota. Again, I don't know if it's going to get wrapped up in January, if it is going to get wrapped up at all. I know there's been a slight worry that because it's not done yet, there's been rumours about it getting done. Why is it not done yet? But we all know things in the background can get done and no come out. He could have signed and it's not come out yet, but we can talk about that for weeks and months and days until it happens. But I think it's just good to have him back and have him back fully fit for this kind of run of games coming up, and obviously the game against Rangers. For me, he's vital, mate. I know Kyogo's vital, but I know McGregor's vital. We've all got vital players, but I think he's vital to what we do. I know Kyogo is to the system, but I think Jota just makes everything tick, man. I think he's phenomenal. I know we spoke about the only downside I had him was he didn't track back. but I think he's totally got that in his game now. I just think he's a massive, massive part to what we need to do for the rest of the season. And I think if he's fit, even if you've not got a striker, if he's fit, I think you've got a bigger chance of playing well than you have maybe with Abada and Forrest. Even with Jota and Abada or Jota and Forrest, it gives you a bit more, for me anyway, as a fan, knowing that he's on the park, a bit of confidence. Because like I said before, when we had Edouard, Dembele, you had your Sinclairs, it only took us to look in the tunnel. The game's won. Game's won because of the guys in that tunnel. So if he's just for talks, you're lining up against Hibs, Rangers, you see Kyogo, you see Jota. Fuck here, we're in for a game here. But if you see Moffat or you see Kyogo and Moffat, you want to know, it's just Moffat. So even though we know the boy Moffat's a talented young boy, Jota's next level. And like you see, even Mikey Johnson, it's Mikey Johnson, but then it's Jota. For me, I think he's pitiful to the rest of your season. I just hope he keeps himself up because we've seen when he wasn't fit, we missed him a lot.
Yeah, definitely, mate. He's massive for us. He sort of became massive for us over the 6 months that he's been here. His level, the way he plays, his level, the intensity, the way he can play is by far anything above I've seen for the last 20 years, easy. I actually said on a previous pod, Brian, I don't know if you remember it, mate, I actually think he's getting me in his locker. I actually think his game's going to go higher. The wee man's only, what, 22?
Roughly,
and
mate. Roughly.
You've got Kyogo, who's 26. You imagine Jota in another 4 years' time, and more development, more coaching, more... if he stays the way he is just now, it's just going to be absolutely... He's not going to be with us, put it that way. But regarding the permanent signing of him, probably one of the only ones that's kind of relatively calm over it, because my thoughts are, let him get back into the team, let him start playing his football again. Maybe later down the line, you see at the end of the season anyway, guaranteed. Maybe later down the line, then we can start thinking about, let's tie him up permanently. If he wants to be there, that's the key part of the whole lot of this.
I know.
Does he want to be there? Now, he's gave us an indication that he's loving it, he's enjoying himself, he's done this, but it's not at the end of the season yet. If Celtic don't win the league, they lose the league with a stretch of points, and they get knocked out of the Scottish Cup, they walk away with the League Cup. And if Celtic go on and win the treble, just say they won the league and they won the Scottish, what that brings. They're going to want to be here again next season. So there's a lot of stuff still to happen, and a lot of things still to be unravelled in the season, I think, before there's any decisions sort of made. And I like the way Ange dealt with it today. In terms of he just stayed calm, and he kind of brushed it off as if, look, I know what we deal with it. That was the kind of attitude Ange gave me over it, and that's even before I seen his interview. That's the kind of attitude I've had. I don't want this to become a sideshow.
Aye.
Important that we've got coming up. We're 6 points behind in the league. In my opinion, until the derby, not drop any more points. We also need to win that game. I don't want this Jota having a massive sideshow and certain players start getting sidetracked. They're thinking, oh, is he going to stay? Is he got... Because that can start putting other players after game. But I'm saying it can start affecting the dressing room over time if it becomes a massive sideshow between the press and between fan forums. And I think the most important thing right now for him is to get back fit, which he's done. He's managed to get himself back in training. And Ange didn't give too much away as well when he says, would they be available for Monday? He sort of said, if it's no Monday, it'll be maybe the next game or so on. He asked me, I think Jota has done the right thing. He's been away and he's done his rehab and everything else. And that wee video today, didn't really show you too much. But if he wasn't ready, as in to be with the team, he certainly wouldn't have been on that video today. I think that's a big bonus for us as well, lads.
I agree with you, mate. I don't believe that if you're training with the first team in the actual first team training, for me, you're fit.
Yeah.
You're either fit to either take part in training or you're fit to play. I don't think these days they would even risk guys. But as we say, Sam, I think the only player, I know Jota is probably a guy you would want to wrap up in cotton wool, but I think maybe his injuries, he's not an injury prone person, but with Kyogo, obviously we don't know how good Maeda is. I know by rumours he's going to be superb. Giakoumakis has just come back from injury. Yet he's still injured. So realistically, as we spoke before we came on, you need to put Kyogo up Craig Tara and just keep him there in cotton wool. Get him on a beach where whatever, a glass of lemon water, heal him up, get him massages a lot, just wrap him up in cotton wool because we need him. We need him, mate. He's pitiful to the system that Ange plays. But I think Jota's just pitiful to the full team because I think you can play different systems with him in it. But with Kyogo, I just think he's got to be the man up front. And if you're playing your one up front, I think he makes it tick because he does the donkey work for you and it lets McGregor, Rogic, if it's McCarthy come in for Turnbull, Beaton, it lets him go further up the park. So, again, we don't know if Maeda, I don't know if his name is. I don't know if you come in do that.
Just keep going, you'll get there eventually.
I don't know if you come in do that job as well. I know by the looks here, he might. He's very quick. He's nippy. He'll supposedly, according to Dan, he's a warrior. But I just think that Kyogo and Jota, you need to keep the two of them fit because they are really key players to what we need today, personally.
I totally agree. As you say, I think Jota's one of the players that I know he obviously can't do everything on his end, but if, say, for example, we're playing, say, Hibs, obviously, because we're playing them on Monday, if it was coming towards like 20 minutes, 25 minutes left in a game, he's one of the players you give the body and you know something's going to happen, or something could happen anyway. It's similar to Rogic because obviously you give the ball to Rogic, he can play that killer pass, and then obviously like you just know there's a possibility he'll bring you out your chair, and so we need to keep Jota fit, and as you say, we need to wrap Kyogo up, send him to wherever he wants to go, and give him the full shebang, and then obviously get him back fit for the important games coming up because, as you said earlier, and as JP said earlier, we need to win every single game because if we drop one game, I don't want to go as far as to say the season's split up, but it's going to make it a lot harder than it already is now. I
agree with you in the sense I do think Rangers will drop points, right? But Shearer White's been gone, right? The only team, in my opinion, that's going to be able to beat them, obviously, is us because they're grinding it and they're grinding it. We keep saying that they're grinding out and they're getting lucky with decisions and lucky with this and that, but at the end of the day, they're grinding results out. And at the time, I was like, when Gerrard left, I was like, don't want him to go because they're doing a downward spiral with him there now. And when he left, I was like, every manager comes in, there's always a bounce effect. 9 times out of 10, there's a bounce effect. And they come in and he's had a bounce effect. So, but the downward spiral for Van Bronckhorst might happen now because the momentum's away now. We've had a break and that run's no kept going. You're basically starting to, you've still got a run, but you're starting to non-momentum again. So, but on the other side, I do agree that we cannot drop any more points. Because it's the same as like, see, even if we go in to beat Hibs and then we win a game after that and then you beat Rangers, see after Rangers you drop points, there's no point beat Rangers, there's no point. You've got to win every game. I know that's not possible. I know we've done that. We went unbeaten a few years ago, but winning every game is nigh on impossible. It's not going to happen. I don't think Rangers will drop many points, but I think they'll only drop points because maybe because I think we need to beat them at least twice and maybe get a point. And I'm confident with a full squad that we'll do it, but it's getting it all together on the park. It's already having it on paper, like we've said. I still believe we've got the best squad. Individually, I still believe that, but we need to do it the park. us as fans, JP, can talk and say Jota's good, Kyogo's good, McGregor's superb, Rogic is this, but like we've said before, mate, the proof is in the pudding, and I do believe that it's time Andrew's come in, he's bedded in, we've roughly got the team back to a certain degree. I know we don't know if guys are going to be missing for the odd game or two, we don't know yet, but we'll come to that when obviously it happens. But take that away, you'll basically get a full fit squad to pick for just about. So for me, for my opinion, JP, again, some fans might say it's his first season and he's still a rebuild. And for me, the rebuild's just about, it's not ended, but the signing policies is Angie's now. He's done what he's had to do beforehand. He's got January to get to. He's in touching distance. He's won a cup. So, for my opinion, as much as I don't want us to lose the league. For now on, this is where I would say we judge Ange now fully, because he's just about getting his squad back. He's got a full January to sign who he wants and let go who he wants. He said another 2 or 3 weeks to implement his strategies, his philosophy, whatever you want to call it. I think now is where for my opinion, JP, this is where you see Angie's Celtic. This is, for me, this is where you see the team that's going to go forward.
I agree with you, mate. I think the approach is going to be full fit to the throttle. I think it's going to be fit to the flare or the wino, because I think the players now, we're at that sort of Christmas period now, and this is what I've always called the business end of the season. And this is when your big players come to fruition. Whenever things, you're needed, start stepping up. And I think now, as you said there, Brian, I think that was key what you said there about this is where you'll see Angie Celtic, because I think with this break, it'll done a number of them the world of good. It came at a bad time for some as well. Maybe some players maybe starting to get a bit of form. As you said there, it takes a wee bit of momentum away. But I think a lot of them, you look at it back at the St Johnstone squad, I know we won 3-1 that day. It's night and day for that squad now. For whatever reasons, they all were players injured, COVID, a lot. You get players back fit and healthy and ready to go. Massive players, McGregor, Hart. Never played the last game when we won 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Big Beaton stepping up to the plate. You had boys like Abada playing through the middle and offering a million times more to his game than what we saw him in a Celtic jersey up to now. He's back to go. He was linking up to play. He was running half players. He was playing 1-2s. He was holding the ball in. He was waiting in runs, getting made off his wingers. He showed a right good side to his game, I thought, against St Johnstone, Abada. He's another one you're talking about options when you maybe don't have a big man up front. He goes through the middle. You've still got that then. You've still got that speed focus that you had with Kyogo and a similar sort of motion. Moves in. So darting runs and in behind people, in people's blind sides. And so you've still got that option there, I know, if you go anywhere near back to your bare bones. I think what's important I know is Forrest being fit. Because when he broke down a few weeks ago, he walked off. I thought he was finished. I thought I was like that probably is probably the last time this season we would see Forrest. That looked a badging. And to know now that there's been a break, he's back in about full team training. That's a massive bonus. What I think that boy needs now, maybe psychological work.
Mm-hmm.
Injury that got him, because when he did come back, I thought he was struggling to take people on and show the James Forrest that we're used to seeing, like the cutting to the byline or bringing the ball inside and even getting the ball onto your left and shooting. He was so hesitant when he was back in the team there. He was always looking for a pass rather than looking to beat Andy. So hopefully Forrest is back and he shows us what he can do as well. And as you said yourself, Ryan, the team's really strong. If you look overall, midfield, we're totally packed out. We've got 4 or 5, 6 central midfielders now. attack's obviously an option now as well. We've been told he's an attacking midfielder, so if you're not playing Rogic, you've got him. If you've not got him, you've got Turnbull. As I say, the options are all there. So it's going to be... And I think the approach will be now, right, on the pedal, fit to the flare. Let's go. Because we really have to. And we really now need to start the game to teams now. We need the traps flying to show our hunger and desire. We're 6 points behind, we're not 6 points in front. I think it's pivotal that we start as we mean to go on. I can't foresee, if they all play to their game and play to the potential that we know that they can, at the end of the season I can't foresee anything else apart from a Celtic victory. And it doesn't matter what other teams do. Mm-hmm. I know we have got the quality required the silverware and deliver the league championship back at Celtic Park.
I think for me, Sam, at JP says it, I think I know we've got defensively we've actually been all right, but for me, we've always got a liability to concede, especially for either a long ball or a set piece. But the thing that gives me a lot of positivity is going forward. We're very dangerous. If you've got Kyogo fit, Rogic fit, guys like that. I know we don't really know much about Hatat, we don't know much about Gucci, but supposedly in that bounce game he was impressive. We don't know. But for me, I think going forward, we've got the best options in the league without a shadow of doubt. Pace, power, strength, finishing ability. See, from my opinion, right, I could be biased, Sam. But see, if you watch Celtic play, you watch Rangers play, you watch Aberdeen play, you watch Hibs, Celtic by far play the far better football. By far better football. It's quick, it's slick. Some games might not be able to beat them, like St Mirren or your Limestons, but you're still playing nice football. You just can't get beyond. Other teams are just playing long balls. The only time I see us playing long ball is if Jackie Marcus plays up front and you hold the ball up. It's the only way I can see us playing long ball. I think now, as JP says, sorry, us sitting here in the podcast or in the pub with our pals or whatever, saying we've got the best quality, because I still think we have, especially going forward. But now it's down to Ange and the players, Sam, to really go and date now, because the board, as I said before, fans might not want to praise the board because, let's be fair, some fans want to criticise the board no matter what because of what's happened in the past. The board have kind of backed Ange blind in a way. For my opinion, Sam, I don't know what you think, but Dermot Desmond, we don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. He could be doing stuff we don't know about, but Bankier, Desmond, Nicholson, whoever's involved in these transfers, they're going on Ange's word, especially with 3 Japanese boys, because they don't know about these Japanese boys. Let's be fair. I'd be very surprised if they did. I can't see Dermot Desmond go to Japan and attack brilliant. Can't see that personally. So they've also been working a long time to get these guys in, because supposedly Maeda was trying to get in the summer. Couldn't happen for whatever reason. So these have been lined up. Ange knows these guys, so I think I'm not want to say if Ange fails it's odd down to him, but it's his team now. So for me, you've got to cut him slack if we don't win a league, because obviously due to he's come in, he's done what he had today. But the transformation of the team and he's signed the amount of players, for me, Sam, where we are and how they've all gelled together, it's not a miracle that we're only 6 points behind, but he's done a fantastic job. So imagine, like we said before, Sam, this is what he's done to now. With no much really in front of him. He's had his hands behind his back with injuries, suspensions, any COVIDs, whatever. The amount of games we've had to play, he's hardly trained with the squad to get his ideas across. But now I would say is where I would go, right, Ange, let's go and date now. If you feel now, the fans will give you a bit of, like, you've had 6 months of that bit of the season now to get it together, and we've not won the league. You're going to go, right, minute here, right, okay. But I think news for me, this is where Ange proves this is us going forward.
I was just going to say that, because there's only so long you can give, not just Ange, but any manager in particular, but it's Ange or whoever. And as you say, the board have backed them, because out of the 16 signings over the course of the 2 windows, I think it is, the vast majority of them have been good signings. So, and obviously, as you say, the 3 Japanese boys, they could come in, they could have the similar effect as Kyogo, but they could go the opposite way and be absolute dog meat. So it's a flip of a coin. So I don't suspect the Japanese boys would be terrible because obviously, as we know, Ange's worked with, I'll call him Dyson because I can't pronounce his last name either. He's worked with Dyson at obviously Yokohama, and he's had a very good look at Gucci and Hatat because obviously he was in Japan for about a good few years now. I don't know how long exactly, but this is, as you say, this is the period where we look now. We've got the vast majority, or if not the full squad, back to full fitness. He's got options. He can rotate and change systems or whatever before or during the game. So this is the turning point where you'll see, or we should see, the true Ange Postecoglou Celtic taking full form.
I agree, mate. I know at the start of the season you're thinking if we lose the league, right, fine, cut them slack, we go again. I'm slightly optimistic that might be the case. If we don't win the league, I think he'll still keep his job. But we have spent a bit of dough. I know people might say aye, but it had to happen. I totally understand that. We had to spend a lot of money. But the board, considering obviously COVID and whatever else, they've used a bit of resources here and they have put a bit of money. And I would like again, I don't think these signings will fail. I really don't. I just think there's like we've said, JP, I think the last podcast, that there is a bit of a feel-good factor about Celtic. I know we've dropped some points, but overall, the mood's good. The fans are we've both forgot we're 6 points behind, but because of how well we've won a cup, some of the football's been good, you're kind of going, you know what, if they want a break, this is time to kick on, then we'll start dropping points, then we'll go with man here. This isn't happening here, this can't happen. So for me, there's a bit of positivity. Jota's back, Julian, Giakoumakis, the 3 new signings. And obviously the only bit of negativity, if I call it negativity, is obviously the guy McGree. He's no signed. I think he's going to sign when he sounds it, what Ange was saying. Again, supposedly he's came here, he's agreed, and he's no signed. So again, is it agents? Is it him changing his mind? Because personally, as I say on Twitter and stuff, Celtic do not need to be sold to any player, any manager, any new supporter. Celtic doesn't need to be sold. You just need to turn up to Parkhead, look at the stadium, walk about Glasgow. You've not signed you and you're already wanting pictures and signed autographs. You're already a hero to see Celtic fans. Do you know what I mean? You go to Middlesbrough, let's be honest, he's going to play for more money. That's the only reason I can think of. It's all right saying he playing in the Championship, Middlesbrough might go up to the Premier League. Granted, fair enough, but the guy might never play in Europe, might never play a Champions League game ever again, or at all. For me, the big lure is Celtic, but if we win the league this year, he's quids in. He's probably going to get a bonus. He's going to get European football next year against top dogs. He's going to get a league winners medal. He might get a Scottish Cup. Again, we don't know the reasons why, but for a fan, you're probably you're a bit biased, aren't you? You're thinking, why are you not back Celtic? What you fucking not back Celtic for? It's just that you're just a fan. There's obviously reasons why he don't want to come to Celtic. Reasons we don't know. It's on media talk that he's getting more money, and Middlesbrough obviously agreed a bigger fee. Charlotte wanted more money, and that's just about money talks these days. I know he can say no to Middlesbrough and then go to Celtic. I understand that, but by Ange's pressure, the rest of the window might be quiet unless something pops up.
Aye, I think it's dead easy for us as Celtic fans, lads, to sit here and say, yeah, a no-brainer. You know, we'll just go on because we would all sign for Celtic in a heartbeat, and some of us would probably do it for next to Yeehaw. Pay my Sky Bill for a year, and I'll come and play. Do you know what I mean? One of the ones. Pay my phone bill for a year, and I'll come and play. Pay my Wayne's college fees, and we'll talk about it. But no, but to be honest, it's easy for us to say that because we're born into it. So I think it's different for guys abroad. who maybe don't really know the stature of the club properly. And again, people, Celtic are worldwide, they are. But Hart didn't realise, he said it in an interview, he didn't realise, just how much of a goldfish bowl it is. It's not until you get here. And then you go, oh, here, hold on a minute. Look the size of this place, man. What have I signed for? Kind of thing, you know what I mean? And that's what happens with different cultures. He's obviously had talks. He knows Ange. Ange was his manager and gave him his debut at Australia. Ange knows him really well. He's obviously had talks with Ange, and then obviously they've broke down because somebody else has come in and offered them more wages. And that's always going to happen with teams in England. Teams in League One could probably offer more wages than what we. It's not that they can offer more wages than what we can. It's just the fact that we're capped and we've got a ceiling, and we just won't get by with our model.
I think roughly, I could take a guess. I would maybe say the average earnings, apart from the top players like your McGregors and maybe your Rogic getting a new deal, you're maybe talking like French players might be on 10, 8. That might be the ceiling for some of these players who can win from abroad. And so I don't think guys like Kyogo and Maida and Hatat will be on massive money. I don't think so. They might be, but I wouldn't think they'd be on mega money in Japan. I don't think they become here to treble wages. I think they're coming here for the opportunity to work with Ange and progress their career. I think it's more that than it is money.
I think the one that kicks in there when you're saying with Japan, Ryan, is when you had Dan on speaking and he turns around and says at £4.5 million, and their money was massive for like say Kyogo were there. Mm-hmm. So if that's your top end, then I can understand why you're saying what you're saying, mate. Because again, it's a league I don't really know too much about. I've only read up in it. Dan gave us a lowdown on a lot of stuff that happened there, and which was great. But I don't like to sit here and say, oh, he's on 20 grand a week, he's on 30 grand a week or whatever else it is. But I would imagine you're right, Ryan. I would imagine 10 to 15 is probably the ballpark. Some of the top earners in that sort of league. And that's a drop in the ocean to the Championship down south. Because that's guys have lost more than that in a night out and gone try to get home with a kebab in your pocket, you know what I mean? 15 grand's nothing compared to what the TV money they get down south. And again, that's a different topic, I know, and it's for a different conversation, but in my opinion, that's killing the game. Good businesses. The amount, I mean, we saw a guy just recently who's just signed for Newcastle for Burnley for 25 million, Chris Wood. You better be going to walk now, Wood, because I'm not being funny. He is not worth £25 million. If he's worth 25 million, Kyogo must be worth, I don't know, 45, 35, whatever it may be. 20 million times better than Chris Wood. By the way, I'm no slagging a big guy off. He might go to Newcastle and hit the ground running and score a barrel. I don't think he's. You're trying to tell me Chris Wood's just at the same level, if no anywhere better than Kieran Tierney?
No.
He sold Tierney for 25 million. You've got to be having a laugh.
Aye, mate. May as well be on that topic. I agree. I don't think
Tierney's probably a better forward than Chris Wood. If you play him full of forward, you turn Tierney into a Gareth Bale. He's still better than Chris Wood.
I think
absolutely unbelievable.
I don't know what you think, Sam. We may as well talk about it for the last bit of the podcast about this, because I think it is a good topic to talk about, because it is, people have got their opinions on the English market and whatever else. They've just paid £20 million for Chris Wood, who scored an average 10 goals a season for Burnley. Average, maybe, right? We sold Edouard for £17 million. £17 million, and Edouard's different player to Chris Wood, but he's technically better finisher, he's better than Chris Wood in my opinion. He'll go for more money than Chris Wood, or they will. I think I'd rather go for more money than we sold him for. It just shows you the inflation, Sam, in the market down south. I think Newcastle have panicked buy. They needed a striker. They need something in that league to keep them up. Let's be fair. I want to put this to you, Sam. Right? See if Steve Bruce signed Chris Wood, the fans would be going after Walker at him, man. They would be going after not what CD signing Chris Wood. But Eddie Howe's just came in. You know, let's be fair, that there was talk about Sri Lankan man guys who he would have signed. So let's be fair, Sam. See if Eddie Howe came in, we were shouting for him to come in, right? I was a big admirer guy. I'm still a big admirer guy. But
can you get Chris Wood?
Hi, Eddie Howe, hi. But with Eddie Howe, Sam, came in here, and both guys like your Bournemouth cast staffs or your Southampton cast staff or whatever, and spent money and dough that and blew us off the water because £20 million for Chris Wood. I know they can afford it, Newcastle, Sam, but there's better £20 million players at that level, in my opinion, and for cheaper for that price in Chris Wood. So I agree with JP, Sam. I don't know what you think, but for me, the only way that's going to change, I seen the day that, is it Dizan or something, this boxing channel's might be taking here, Sky.
Dizan.
Dizan, they might be doing a deal with, I don't know if it's Sky or the English Premier League. So it's more money, right? So it's going to be even more wages going into the English.
Is it not the Champions League, Brian? I'm sure I've seen it.
Is
the Champions League.
Well,
180 million in the Champions League or something.
I've heard it wrong then, right? So that's going to be even more money to attract these players to play in the Premier League, to your Man U's, your Chelsea's, your whatever, to get to that level. It's more money. It's going to put more money into English football and European football. For me, the only way Sky English football is going to stop all that, for me, Sam, is if Sky's out of business. And that means we all need to stop going to Sky for our football, but Sky know it's not going to happen. But I don't know what you think of the market, Sam, down there.
It's just frightening because obviously, as JP saying about Chris Wood, £25 million for a guy. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a good player, but is he anywhere near £25 million? He's nowhere near it.
And he's
I'm going to give you 30 bob for him.
And he's 31, and they've signed Trippier, who's 31 for £20 million as well.
Because then they were looking at I can't remember the boy's name, but an 18-year-old for Reims in France who's had one good season, one good start to a season, and they'd want to pay £30 million for him. And then I'm going to just say one thing, then I'll go off topic. Harry Maguire, there's a prime example. £80 million they paid for him. I cannot. No, I'm going to just. He's £80 million. You're trying to tell me he's better than Van Dijk or Ruben Diaz. So that's all I'm going to say because I could go on for it. I don't like Harry Maguire. But back to the original point, but obviously you were saying, but the inflation in the English market is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Because then, obviously, as you said, there's Chris Wood, Kieran Trippier, who, to be fair, 31-year-old guy, but he's still a good player. He done no bad at Spurs. Obviously, went to Atletico Madrid, won the league in his first year there. I don't know why, fair enough, the lower in the Premier League, as we've said, but I just think the clubs pay above and beyond than what they need to pay. And I get, obviously, it's down to the inflation. But some of these players are not anywhere near the amounts that these clubs pay for them. Honestly, it's frightening.
I think that's why, JP and Sam, that we need to ask for a lot more money than we have done in the past. As I've said, £25 million up front for Tierney. Aye, good deal, fair enough, but he's worth more than that. We get absolutely robbed. The boy, people might listen to this or they might watch it on YouTube and say, Ryan, you're talking out your arse. Kieran Tierney could play for Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, any team in the world, in my opinion. Kieran Tierney could play for week in, week out. People might say, Ryan, you're full of shite. I don't believe her. I believe I've seen enough of Tierney playing with us. I've seen him enough down there. He's been brilliant for Arsenal. Arsenal fans will want to be captain. The boy's an absolute warrior. He's frightening. He's absolutely frightening. He could easily step in and let Marcelo's place at Madrid. He could step in and play for Alba's, but no bother at all. Same as for me, McGregor. I'm not saying McGregor could play week in, week out with Man City, but he could definitely play in Man City squad, Arsenal squad, Man United squad. We have got players that can play that level, but because they're Scottish or they play in the Scottish League, they get doubted. And like you says about Van Dijk, Sam, JP, people actually criticised what Southampton paid for him, what you're paying that for him. And he went down there and they're thinking, oh, bargain, man, we've got a bargain, this boy's a baller. And they look at him now, he's probably the best defender apart from Diaz in the world. So it just shows you, mate, as you says, that we need to be sharper. If it means we need to sell our players when the iron's hot and get more money, then so be it, because we need to catch up on the value that for our players for what they're getting down south.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Sam mentioned him, Harry Maguire. If Harry Maguire can play with Man United, I'm sure Greg Taylor could be our captain.
Maybe Greg.
It's absolutely unbelievable the structure they've got, and I don't know who they've got sitting making up these sums. He's not a genius, because the prices are just unbelievable. I wouldn't like the guy to own a supermarket. I wouldn't like where you would begin to pay for milk and bread and sweeties and everything else you were allowed to buy, because if that's his pricing structure for football, I wouldn't like to see his pricing structure for groceries for your house, because it's an absolute shambles. Harry Maguire, you got to give him a 5 a size, with you would actually talk between all the boys and you'd say, we're not even going to phone him. Absolutely. As a footballer. Honestly, you would have a Zoom meeting with all the boys apart from him and say, we'll just play we'll just play 5 against 4, because that's just not happening. And you wouldn't want to win his team. Come on, what are you doing? What?
I agree with you. I just don't think he's up to Man U's level. And I don't know, but obviously Man U fans might disagree, whatever. But for me, we're paying £7 million for Julian, right? For me, I think he's kind of paid his value for some of the goals he scored. I think he's my good signing, right? We're thinking that's a lot of money for us, and they're paying £80 million for an average centre back, in my opinion. He's a lesser centre back, in my opinion. He done well at Leicester. Don't get me wrong, he was good for Leicester. But when you go to these levels, I think that's sometimes when you get found out, and I think Maguire's getting found out. And for me, Sam, the only reason Maguire, I know it's a Celtic podcast, last topic that we're talking about it, I think the only reason he's playing in Man U is because he's the captain. If he wasn't the captain, I don't think he'd be playing, Sam.
No, because when he joined, he jumped in and get the captaincy straight away. But before he joined that team, apart from Bruno Fernandes, who would you give the captaincy to? Nobody in that team. I do like. Don't be wrong, he's vocal in that, right? Because I watch not a lot of English football, but a good amount of it. He's vocal. I'll give him his due in that, and he obviously, to some extent, coordinates the defence. But some of it, as JP said, you wouldn't play in 5-a-sides. Some of the mistakes he makes is unbelievable. But there's clips you see him and he's pulled Shaw out the way, and like that game last year, I think it was last year or the start of this year, where Tottenham beat them 6-0. And he pulled Shaw out the way, and it's like, what in the world are you doing?
He wants to ball that much, he tackles his own players.
I want to ball home for my kids tonight.
The goal he scored for England against, it was a lesser country anyway, no disrespect to him, and he's gone like that with his fingers in his ears, and Roy Keane slated him for it. He's like, you can do it in the world stage. He's like, go and do it for your club. So it just shows you, it's like, and I get to some extent there's more eyes on them in England than there is in Scotland, but I think he's an absolute bomb scary defender.
No, I agree, mate. But again, our English market, obviously, JP, the last few days, the signings and maybe the guy McGreeno signing, what's your kind of overall kind of perspective of the last few days, obviously leading up to the game on Monday?
Looking forward to it, Ryan. I'm not too downhearted, mate, about McGree, because that came right out of left field in the media. It was put together I think it was Sunday we seen it first, then it went to Monday, and then so I'm kind of not downhearted about it because we never really kind of got used to it in the first place. That'd have been different if maybe the deal was so far down the line, or he failed his medical, or but not even. I don't even think it. Gone me Angie Day. I don't think it's even got down the line. I think it was an initial conversation, and then it was quite quickly decided that, do you know what? I'm looking for other options. Fair enough, and that's what Ange says, and he sort of just batted it away because 100% his demeanour, and if he's not too bothered about it, neither am I, because he's not gave us a reason yet, Ryan, not to trust him. So if he thinks it's right for the football club, yeah, I've said that before. I like today as well is, I'm not going to tell lies. I'm not going to sit here and tell lies, and I love that. See that. I do genuinely think he wouldn't like it, Ryan. I do genuinely see if something's going down. I think he would tell the Celtic fans just because of how well they've took to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's received backing, Ryan. He's even said it, like, he done an Australian interview and then he done one in Greek. And I've read a wee bit of a transcript that was supposed to, this is what the translation was. Whether it's true or no, I don't know. But he was, he's telling people back in Greece and telling people in Australia, see all the teams he's managed, he's never had that sort of reception. Never. He's never, that's the first club he's been with, or the first job he's had, where he's had to go onto the park and wave at the fans and say cheerio, and he's never had that before. Welcoming him onto the pitch by singing a song with his name in it, and so to see that, and you're at the games, Ryan, you know yourself, Sam, as well, feel that emotion, especially see the cup final. That was a massive emotion through us all, for various different reasons, right? I think maybe one was last season, stuck in a lot of our heads when we walked away with absolutely hee-haw, and it was just what a feeling it was to be back in amongst a cup final, back winning trophies again. He brought that emotion. Same in the semi-final when we beat St Johnstone, albeit it was a narrow scoreline, but the atmosphere after the result, it's just, he's brought an atmosphere that I don't remember seeing for a very, very long time. It's on to the games now.
Aye.
There's you can feel it. You can feel the, I don't want to say it's a tension, but it's like a kind of aura. It's an anticipation he's brought, and the fans right away they're singing and I've never seen them so jubilant in a long time. Even Brendan didn't get that reception. I know he got a good reception, but he's not had that sort of raw emotion after certain types of games. And I think the big one from was the 2-1 victory up at Pittodrie.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of changed a lot of people in the way fans were thinking. So, what about you boys? But overall, perspective of things for me moving forward is, can't wait to the next game.
Mm-hmm.
It's at that stage now where you just, Celtic have become, under Ange, they've just become this machine that you just want to go to the next game, because you there's guys like Jota and Kyogo and Rogic and Abada, and boys are all in their game, and they're entertaining to watch. You just can't wait you're buzzing to get to the next game. And I know every fan's probably the exact same. But he's brought that sort of emotion side of it that I just don't think's been there for the last, I don't know how long. And it feels amazing. I don't know about yours.
No, I agree, mate. Rodgers brought something, but I think because he was successful right away, and we've went through a year before he came in with no trophies in a long time. I agree with you, mate. I don't know what Sam thought, obviously, about the cup final and winning another trophy, but for me, mate, being at the game, the final, it was just, even when we scored, I was really, really celebrating. Me and Robert were going off. I'm like, brilliant. This is, for me, it was like, you can't, how do you explain this? You never get sick of days like that. You never get sick of winning trophies. I I was the same when I played. I used to love winning. Like, I played football to win trophies, and it was the same for me as a fan. I love seeing my team winning. There's no better feeling than leaving that game, going for a few beers, and home. Oh, Dad, I won the game. Ma, I won the game. It's fucking brilliant. And I think the new, I'm getting that way again where I'm expecting us to go to Celtic Park against Hibs and 1-5-0, St Mirren 4-0, Livy 4-0. I'm expecting this now because of what we've got up front. I don't know what you're overall thinking as the last few days, Sam. Obviously, Ange can win as well, but for me, mate, I'm the same as JP. I'm looking forward to every game now, and obviously, you're looking forward to obviously getting 3 points and seeing your team perform on the park because we can get into the games now.
I was just going to agree with that because, as JP said, there's just that raw emotion now. Because I went to the St Johnstone game and it was like last minute I get let down. So I took my mate who doesn't really care about football. And I said to him, I was like, you're going to get right into this. And he's like, nah. And even he's sitting like, because when there was things on, obviously as the both will know, when Hart was taking it around and playing it with his feet and he nearly get caught out, I turned to him and he's sitting there like that and like, God, like, and you could see the emotion for somebody that doesn't care about football. Mm-hmm. And even at the end, obviously, when we won the 1-0 and the players are walking around, and obviously, JP said they're fitting Andrew's name into songs. And after we left, he turned to me and he says, I didn't think in my entire life I'd go to somewhere and 40,000 people were singing Last Christmas. So it's just things like that. And obviously, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's just obviously the norm for me. Mm-hmm. But it's just, there's that positive anticipation where last year, obviously, more so than normal, you go, like Celtic are playing in a couple of days. Like, you go, oh, you kind of get nervous. But now, obviously, as you said, you're going, Celtic are playing Hibs on Monday and you're getting excited for it. And it's just, there's no better feeling watching your team play, obviously, as you said, winning trophies, but more importantly, winning games, playing well. And it's just, slowly but surely we're getting that back. So it's just nothing but positive things I can say.
Yeah, mate, I'm the same. I just love for even winning's a big thing for me. See, like if we get beat or we draw, I feel like I've played. I'm going home. I'm not happy. But when you win, you're like, group chats are buzzing. You're buzzing. I go for a beer. Who actually good? That's how I'm saying people don't understand how good football is for people. People who don't like football or into football, they don't realise what football does to. Obviously, there's women that love football, and I understand. But for me as a guy, you're working hard all week. You're maybe looking forward to a wee beer before, a wee beer after. As a release, as you say, you're singing, you're feeling every emotion, you're kicking every ball, and that's just football in a nutshell for me. And that's how I'm so glad that hopefully that's the fans back in and there's no more restrictions and we can just go on with life again. But again, it all depends on obviously how many season, whatever happens for the Casey stuff. But hopefully that's us for the season. We don't need to kind of shut down again. But again, JP, Sam, hopefully that's us for a few days. Be quite quiet. But again, Celtic never know with football, anything can happen. Again, lads, thanks a lot. Take care and hail, hail.
Hail, hail, Ryan. Hail, hail, Sam.
Yes, man.